Good afternoon, everyone, and welcome to Police Off the Cuff, Real Crime Stories. I'm your host, retired NYPD Sergeant Bill Cannon, 27-year veteran of the NYPD. We have a really unusual and interesting case that we're covering this afternoon. 18-year-old Anna Kempner on a cruise ship was discovered deceased in her room. And the FBI is part of this investigation. The investigation, unusual to have a death on a cruise ship. So this case, also of an 18-year-old, and a little unusual, will give you some of the details of this case. A cruise ship is supposed to be a floating city of fun, a paradise on the sea with thousands of people on board. But for 18-year-old Anna Kempner, it became the scene of a baffling tragedy. Her family vacation turned into an absolute nightmare when she was found dead in her stateroom. With her death occurring in international waters, the FBI was called in, but the most unsettling question wasn't just what happened, but how. On a ship teeming with people, could a death remain a secret for nearly a day? So in early November 2025, the Carnival Horizon was cutting through the warm waters of the Caribbean. On board was Anna Kempner, her vibrant 18-year-old from Titusville, Florida, on a vacation with her family. By all accounts, Anna was someone who just radiated light. Her friends and family called her Anna Banana, a nod to her bubbly, funny, and outgoing personality. Her obituary paints a picture of a young woman who lived life to the fullest, loving the sun, the water, and making silly TikToks. She was a senior at Temple Christian School, a varsity cheerleader and a straight A student, and had a deep, unwavering faith. So the nightmare began on Friday, November 7th. The Carnival Horizon was in international waters somewhere off the northwest coast of Cuba. For most of the nearly 4,000 guests, it was just another day in paradise. But for Anna, it was the day her life ended. And here's where the timeline gets chilling. According to the Miami-Dade medical examiner, Anna Kempner died at 11:17 a.m. that morning. Her cause of death remains unreleased, a tightly held secret in an ongoing federal investigation. But that one fact creates the central mystery of this entire case. Anna died late in the morning on a bustling cruise ship. Yet for almost a full day, her fate remained a secret held within the four walls of her stateroom. According to family members, Anna had told them she wasn't feeling well the night before and had gone back to her room. When she didn't show up for breakfast the next morning, a search reportedly began. So this is highly unusual that this could happen. And is there a chance here that there's foul play? Well, 18-year-olds aren't supposed to die on a cruise ship and then be found secreted under their bed in an attempt by whoever did this to hide the body. And that is where the investigation comes into play. And the how that this occurred, the cause of death, has not yet been released. And we know that the FBI will keep this silent until they have to release the details of her death. So, folks, hold on to your hats. Hold on to your loved ones. Hold on to your thoughts. Hold on to your prayers. You're about to enter true crime from a police perspective. You're about to enter the off-the-cuff zone, the police off-the-cuff zone. There has to be some common sense.
They were the ones who called 911 to get him help, and now they're calling for change.
This is a little video from the Today Show in regards to this case.
There are new developments in the death of a Florida teenager aboard a Carnival cruise ship. According to a new court filing, the FBI may be looking at one of her step-siblings in connection with the investigation. NBC's Jesse Kirsch joins us now from Port Miami. Jesse, good morning.
Craig, good morning. When that Carnival cruise ship returned to this port, the FBI responded to the scene. But nearly 2 weeks later, the Miami-Dade medical examiner still has not announced Anna Kempner's cause of death. Meanwhile, new details are potentially emerging. This morning, the mystery deepening around the tragic death of a teenager aboard a cruise ship. 18-year-old Anna Kempner died on the Carnival Horizon ship earlier this month. The case gaining national attention. And now a document tied to some of Kepner's family coming to light. NBC News has obtained a filing from this week by an attorney for the teen's stepmother, Chantel Hudson, in an ongoing unrelated case about Hudson's past marriage. The attorney writing, an extremely sensitive and severe circumstance has arisen, saying that Hudson and her minor children were on the same Caribbean cruise as Kepner. And writing, Hudson has been advised through discussions with FBI investigators and her attorneys that a criminal case may be initiated against one of her minor children. A former police chief for the Miami PD says investigators are likely going through the ship's surveillance cameras, looking for evidence and to help build a timeline of the possible crime.
They're going to be able to isolate the image of this young lady and run that against all their video streams to see where she was and when and with who. And so that's a lot to unpack.
CBS News reports that Kepner's body was found under her bed in her stateroom, according to multiple law enforcement sources. NBC News has reached out to the FBI on the report. The FBI says it's not commenting about an ongoing investigation. Meanwhile, Kepner remembered this morning. The high school senior from Central Florida described in her obituary as a bright and beautiful soul. We have reached out to an attorney for Kepner's stepmother as well as the teen's father, but we have not heard back from either party. As for the Carnival Horizon ship, the cruise line tells us in part, quote, the FBI has advised that there is no related threat to safety aboard as it sails its current voyage. Craig.
Jesse Kirsch for us there in Miami.
So what a tragic situation. And what makes it even more tragic is that the number one suspect here is one of the boys in this picture, the 16-year-old. I don't know if they want to put his name out there, but a 16-year-old boy who would have been her stepbrother is a suspect in Anna Kempner's death. So tragic. So on Saturday, November 8th, as the Carnival Horizon was sailing back to Port Miami, the grim truth came to light. A housekeeper doing her routine duties entered Anna's stateroom and made a horrifying discovery. Anna wasn't just deceased, she was found under the bed. Some reports citing anonymous law enforcement sources have painted an even more disturbing picture, suggesting her body was wrapped in a blanket and deliberately concealed. Imagine the shock of that moment. On a vessel designed for joy and relaxation, a young woman's life had ended under deeply suspicious circumstances. When the ship docked in Port Miami, it was no longer just a cruise ship returning from the Caribbean. It was a potential crime scene. It is a crime scene. And waiting at the port were agents from the FBI. The FBI's involvement the FBI's involvement signaled just how serious this case was, because Anna is, of course, a U.S. citizen who died in international waters. Jurisdiction automatically fell to federal authorities. The Miami FBI field office took the lead, and the Carnival Horizon was placed under intense scrutiny. Carnival Cruise Line issued a statement expressing their condolences and promising full cooperation with the investigation. So what they really had to do was piece together Anna Kempner's last movements. And this would have been made easier by the amount of video cameras that are on all cruise ships, because obviously cruise ships have to keep track of all their clientele. And the real reality exists that people can fall off the ship into the water. So that is one of the reasons why it is so important to go through and develop, in a case like this, a timeline. So the FBI had to piece together Anna's final hours on a cruise ship. This means, of course, combing through a mountain of digital evidence. Investigators started pulling surveillance footage from the thousands of cameras that monitor the ship's public spaces and hallways. They also began analyzing electronic keycard data, a digital breadcrumb trail that shows exactly who entered Anna's cabin and when. Her cell phone records were also collected, holding potential clues in her text calls and social media activity. Simultaneously, agents interviewed passengers, crew, and most importantly, Anna's family who were traveling with her. Despite the flurry of activity, an official wall of silence went up. The FBI never talks about stuff like this. They declined to comment. And the Miami-Dade Medical Examiner's Office confirmed her death, but withheld the cause and manner, stating that final autopsy results would take weeks. This lack of information left Anna's family and the public in an agonizing limbo. Her father, Christopher Kepner, stated publicly that the FBI hadn't shared any information with him, leaving him completely in the dark about what had happened to his daughter. I don't think he's completely in the dark. I think there's a very good chance that they know that the oldest son is a suspect in the murder. If they're not calling it a murder yet, because when we talk of cause of death and manner of death, and manner we discussed so many times on this show, manner can be homicide, suicide, accidental, natural, and undetermined. So the Miami Medical Examiner's Office has not yet put it out there that this case is a homicide. Once they do, we would expect them to release a cause of death, which in a case like this, in my opinion, as a homicide investigator, would most likely be asphyxia, strangulation of some kind, either neck strangulation or holding a pillow over someone's face. That type of is known as asphyxia. The other way would potentially be a blunt trauma, but there's been no information coming out even from the cleaner who found her. But it is quite, of course, unusual to find someone in a carnival ship lying underneath their bed. This picture we see up on the screen is Anna's dad, and with the blended family they have together, the stepmother there, Chantel Hudson, and of course Anna Kempner. And they're not naming the names of the sons. And the one, of course, who is a suspect in this case, but he is potentially a suspect, but the FBI is not naming him as a suspect as of yet. However, they're also not releasing cause and manner of death. In any event, this is an extremely tragic situation, and it doesn't seem like a whodunit. They have a suspect right now, but that doesn't mean that the investigation has ended. What that means is that they have to still cross their T's and dot their I's and do everything correctly. This is from ABC News.
Details in the mysterious death of 18-year-old Anna Kempner, whose body was found aboard the Carnival cruise ship Horizon earlier this month. According to a security source briefed on the investigation, Kepner's body was found under a bed in a blanket covered by life vests. In a new filing in an unrelated family court matter, one of her step-siblings, who is a minor, could face criminal charges in connection to Anna's death. Anna was on the ship with her father, stepmother, and step-siblings when she went missing. According to the Daily Mail, a housekeeper found her body under her bed in a stateroom while the ship was out at sea. Authorities determining she died Friday, November 7th at 11:17 a.m. The new court document saying her stepmother has been advised through discussions with FBI investigators and her attorneys that a criminal case may be initiated against one of the minor children.
that means that there's a greater likelihood, obviously, that they will be charged. We don't know what the evidence is against, let's say, one of the step siblings. But the next procedure would be they would issue an arrest warrant.
Anna, a high school senior, was planning to graduate in May. Her family says she was a happy and bubbly straight-A student. Carnival Cruise Line telling ABC News they are fully cooperating with the Miami office of the FBI in the investigation. The FBI declined to comment. Investigators are now poring over the ship's security records, camera footage, and access card slides. They're also waiting for full toxicology and autopsy reports. Both of those could take weeks. Guys, still so many questions here. New details.
So, yeah, it is. There are lots of questions. However, again, this is not what we would call a whodunit. They have a suspect. And you may ask, well, what did the FBI do in regards to possibly interviewing a 16-year-old? And the law is different in different jurisdictions. Now, this crime took place in international waters. If it, in fact, is a crime, and it looks like it actually is a crime because they're alluding to the fact that the 16-year-old is a suspect. What are the rules in international waters? What are the rules for the FBI to interview this 16-year-old? In New York City, with the NYPD, you're allowed to interview a minor as long as the minor and a parent or legal guardian is read and waives Miranda and understands the charges against him. So if the parent, who is Chantel Hudson, agrees to have her 16-year-old son interviewed, and he and she both waive Miranda, you have the right to remain silent, your Miranda rights, your Miranda warnings. If she agrees to allow him to be interviewed by the FBI, then there is potential that he may have confessed. We don't know, and we won't find that out, of course, from the FBI. They will keep that very, very close to the vest. But very interesting, because that could help in this case tremendously if the FBI was able to interview the 16-year-old minor in the presence of his mother, who both the young 16-year-old minor and the mother, Chantel Hudson, were read, understood, and waived their Miranda rights and were willing to make a statement. So there is a potential that this young man may have confessed to this crime and told the FBI how and why he did it.
Have you or a loved one been injured in an accident with a commercial vehicle, like an 18-wheeler, delivery van, bus, or rideshare, and you weren't at fault? These cases aren't like regular car accidents. They involve corporations, insurance companies, and complex transportation laws. You need an experienced attorney who knows how to fight and win. That's where the team at 911 Law Call comes in. We connect you with top law firms that specialize in commercial vehicle accidents and have a proven track record of securing real compensation for victims just like you. The consultation is free. There are no fees unless we win. Call 866-814-2911 now. That's 866-814-2911. 866-814-2911. Justice for commercial vehicle victims starts here. 866-814-2911. No fees unless we win. That's 866-814-2911.
One of the things that blew this case open was a legal document in a separate case. The document was an emergency motion filed in Brevard County, Florida, by Anna's stepmother, Chantel Hudson. She was asking to postpone a child custody hearing with her ex-husband, and the reason she gave was shocking. In the motion, Hudson's attorney stated that she had been advised by FBI investigators that a criminal case may be initiated against one of her minor children in connection with Anna's death, which means it's going to be filed. The filing argued that because of this pending criminal investigation, Hudson could not be forced to testify in her divorce proceedings, claiming her testimony could be prejudicial to her or her adolescent child. This was the bombshell. The focus of the investigation appeared to be narrowing, pointing not to a stranger or a crew member, but to someone inside Anna's own family circle. One of her step-siblings. This revelation, emerging from a divorce court document, confirmed that this was a potential homicide investigation and that a minor was a person of interest. The court filing raised more questions than it answered. Who is this minor step-sibling, and what was their relationship with Anna? Some reports have identified the person of interest as a 16-year-old stepbrother, though this has not been officially confirmed by the FBI. What could have possibly happened in that stateroom to lead to Anna's death? Investigators have remained silent, but the implications are staggering. Was it an argument that escalated to unimaginable violence, an accident followed by a panic cover-up? The act of hiding Anna's body is perhaps the most chilling detail. It suggests a deliberate effort to conceal the truth and to pretend that nothing had happened. How could a family on a cruise together not realize one of their own was missing for nearly 24 hours? Did they not check on her when she failed to show up for meals or activities? These are the questions that haunt this case, transforming it from a straightforward tragedy into a complex psychological puzzle. On a floating city where everyone is a potential witness, the truth remains submerged. So I don't think it's all that much of a mystery. I think if I had to predict what this was about, and I could be wrong, this may have been an unrequited sexual advance by the 16-year-old toward his stepsister, Anna Kempner, an 18-year-old. That is a distinct possibility, and we'll discuss more about this in just a minute. And now a word from our sponsor. FanDuel's got an offer you don't want to miss this NFL season. New customers can bet just $5 and get $300 in bonus bets if you win. That's right. Pick a bet $5, and if it wins, you'll unlock $300 in bonus bets to use all across the app. You can build parlays, bet player props, ride the live lines, whatever your style. FanDuel has you covered. The NFL season is here. The only question is, are you ready to play? You must be 21 years or older and present in select states. For Kansas, an affiliation with Kansas Star Casino, or 18 plus and present in D.C., Kentucky, or Wyoming. First online real money wager only. $5 first deposit required. Bonus issued as non-withdrawable bonus bets, which expire 7 days after receipt. Restrictions apply. See terms at sportsbookfanduel.com. Gambling problem? Call 1-800-GAMBLER or visit fanduel.com/RG. Call 1-888-789-7777 or visit ccpg.org/chat in Connecticut or visit mdgamblinghelp.org in Maryland. Hope is here. Visit gamblinghelplinema.org or call 1-800-327-5050 for 24/7 support in Massachusetts, or call 1-877-8-HOPE New York or text HOPE New York in New York. Now, if the FBI did get a chance to interview this 16-year-old after Miranda rights were waived by him and his mother, then they have a pretty good idea of how and the why, the when, all of those things, but they still have to do a methodical investigation. And in these cases, the crime scene, of course, is so very important. And this crime scene with Anna Kempner's body found under the bed is very telling, because a killer would want to hide what he did to this poor young lady. And in this case, also the why. Was this, in fact, an attempted sexual assault? And was there evidence of this before? Was there an attraction between this 16-year-old? Was there some attraction between him and the 18-year-old Anna Kempner that was unrequited, and she was trying to push him away? And maybe she also hid in her bedroom because she wanted to be away from him. Those are all questions we need to ask. But this is what a tragic, tragic case. Can you imagine how the rest of the family will be doing this? This is from Fox News in regards to this case.
New details in the death of Florida high school cheerleader Anna Kempner, whose body was found on a Carnival cruise ship earlier this month. Court filings now show one of her step siblings could be criminally charged in connection to her death. The filing revealing Kepner's stepmother was notified through discussions with the FBI that the case could be initiated against one of her minor children as the investigation continues. Criminal defense attorney David Gelman joins me now. David, thanks for joining us. What do you make of these new details?
Carly, this is an absolute bombshell. Look, probable cause here, there's going to be a lot of it. And you got to think about it. When these cruise ships, they're like floating security cameras. They have cameras all over the place. So they have a very good idea about what happened to Miss Kepner. And, you know, these new bombshell revelations that came out through this discovery, it shows that potentially the minor children may be an issue here, and they may be actually suspects, or a suspect, I should say. Now,
well, they are, in fact, at this point, suspects. And what this counselor is also saying is that it's a walking, talking video camera, you know. So they will have all of the details of the times that Anna went into her room and who went into her room afterwards. And they know what time approximately she died and what date. So put all the science together with the art of investigation, and the FBI will build a solid case if, in fact, this is what occurred against the 16-year-old stepbrother in the murder of Anna Kempner. Just absolutely a tragic, tragic situation. This beautiful girl starting her life out, straight A student, was about to start her life, and her life snuffed out. By, you see the blended family up on the screen, the picture of that. Just an absolutely tragic situation. But the FBI is handling this case. They're going to know exactly what occurred here. And then when we get the forensic evidence back, the autopsy report, the toxicology, the crime scene photographs, and the video, the digital evidence, whether it be the ship's video cameras or whether it be Anna Kempner's text messages, her emails, her pictures on her phone, all of those things will help to assist the FBI in building a solid case against whoever ended the life of Anna Kempner in this tragic, tragic situation. Folks, thank you so much for tuning in. It's so great to be back on the channel, Police Off the Cuff. Have a great day, everyone. God bless. We'll see you the next time.
One episode just ain't enough.